react to this Andrew Tate video. Just because, somebody asked a question. So, 1 second, let me see. Okay. Everybody good? You can hit it, bro.
But when you're on your own in that cell, what were you thinking? It's a long time to self-reflect, right?
It certainly is. And I think my number one concern when I was in jail, despite the fact that my situation was dire, were my concerns as a man and all the people I have to take care of, and my children and my family and the people I pay for and all the people who work for me. And truthfully, I wasn't worried about myself. I was worried about everybody else. And I think that's the true masculine frame.
Did you get emotional? Did you shed tears in your cell?
I'm an emotional man. I think men are hyper emotional. We just have to control it. I was extremely busy inside of my jail cell. I had lots of push-ups to do. I was very concerned about the people on the outside. I was trying my best to get out. It's difficult for me to answer the question because it was an interesting frame of mind. I knew that God was watching and I had to perform. It's very difficult for me to go through life saying I'm the top G, I'm this, I'm that, and speak about mental resilience and mental toughness, and then the second I'm thrown inside of a solitary confinement cell, cower out. I'm not that person. There's some other people who talk about mental toughness and want to give advice, and when bad things happen to them, they end up addicted to prescription drugs. I'm not a coward and I'm not a liar.
No, but it would be perfectly natural to be emotional in that scenario, and there's no shame in admitting that.
I was emotional. I missed people. I missed them, and I knew they missed me. So I felt a strong sense of missing.
But you cried.
There were tears that ran down my face, but I did not cry.
I mean, that's crying.
I would disagree.
Because you're worried about admitting that. You think it sounds
Absolutely
weak.
not. That's a perfectly fine scenario to cry in, but I think the act of crying is an act of desperation. To sit and to cry is an act in and of itself. To do push-ups, thinking of your children with tears running down your face, but you're concerned with finishing as many push-ups as possible within that day, I do not consider that crying. I consider that tears running down my face.
What do you guys think about that?
Boy, you doing too much. No, I'm just saying.
I guess it's just called sweat running down your face then.
I feel like I was really agreeing with everything he said up until he said the crying thing, because you trying too much to be hard, too much.
I was agreeing when he was talking fast.
Resilience, like, okay, it's okay, like you cry, you miss your kids. Da-da-da. You just said men are hyper emotional, but you got to control it. You in a jail cell. What's wrong with?
What's wrong with crying?
You know and he did cry. Tears was running down his face, and you talk about.
Oh man.
I guess the word crying is triggering for men. My bad. Let me just say tears running down your face.
Yeah, we don't cry. So
my bad.
It's not a manly thing to let yourself outpour.
I mean, I don't understand. What is the big deal? Like, I feel like if you don't cry, you're not human. I'm sorry. If you don't have no tears coming out your eyes, you're not human. That's crazy. We all have emotions, like.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. As a man, I love the part where he said men are hyper emotional, but you have to control it, because I feel like there's nothing wrong with a man crying. There's nothing wrong with a man being emotional, but you have to control it. Don't be out here crying all the time. Don't be out here just crying to anyone in front of anybody.
No, that's true.
Like, control it, but be able to be vulnerable. Like, I hate when people try to act hard, because that makes you seem soft. Like, that make it seem like, you trying to hide something. Okay, I'm insecure.
Like, you about to go cry in the corner, but just not in front of me.
Yeah, I can't admit that. No, people that are secure in themselves can admit, yeah, I cry sometimes. That's cool. All right, cool.
Yes, I agree.
So what you think about that? Derek, we gotta let you respond to this video.
You gotta
respond to this video, bro.
I ain't really gonna say too much,
He about to cry.
Don't cry, bro. Don't hold it in.
Crying is a hard part in a man, like, honesty, just speaking for the general. Crying is a hard part. It does show a lot of vulnerability, and when you are in a tough state like a jail, it might be some tears shed, but man they wouldn't really have those tears just sitting there. No, they would be working while them tears sitting there. They would be trying to do something bigger, something better to have them tears sitting there, because they know that they're in a state that, okay, crying is like, this is crazy. Something has to be going down, So that's how I feel about it.
I feel like neither one is wrong. If you're there in a jail cell and you hold your tears in and you work through it, I feel like that's cool. That's manly. I feel like if you're there in a jail cell and you cry your eyes out, that's cool. That's also manly. Jesus cried in the Garden of Gethsemane. He bawled his eyes out. They say he cried so much I think he teared blood because he knew what he was about to go through.
That's
what
the
is
most
so
manly cry I've ever heard in my life.
No, for real. But I guess it just depends on what made you cry. Why are you crying? Where are you crying? Who are you crying to? How often do you cry? Because y'all cannot be crying like that. Y'all do need to control it. That's not... You can't be out here just crying. Like, that's not alpha. Very alpha of you. Don't take me serious.
No.
Cut me up in the comments. What they saying?
I do feel like... oh, no, they just...
They cutting me up?
No.
Oh my gosh. No.
No, I honestly feel like when I saw the video, I was like, it's, I don't know.
I cry every day. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I hope you're okay.
Call me not cry every day. He's a real man.
That's a real man right there.
But, yeah, so when I first saw the video, he's the top dog, Big G, I was just like...
Self-proclaimed. No, just...
it's a little bit overkill to me. Andrew Tate, I mean, he does have some good takes. I don't think it's anything that... I honestly don't think it's anything that no one's heard before. Mm-hmm. I just think it's the way that he says it is very... I think he got really popular because a lot of men didn't really feel like they had that representation of... people speaking for them. So there's not like a big... I mean, I think it's becoming a more men empowerment space today, but at the same time, it can go into that, like we talk about extreme feminists. It can be masculinists.
Exactly.
Because
my issue with feminists and say it again? Masculinist is that it's always like at the expense of the other sex, gender. So it's like I will be all for men's empowerment if it's not like, you know what I'm saying,
disrespecting women.
And I'll be all for women's empowerment if it's not disrespecting men. That's it. Because it's only our community where they try to make us at war with each other. I don't see no other race where they going at war with each other, like the men and the women, you know what I'm saying, tearing each other down like that. Like, I'm not with that. Yeah. I'm
going to ask y'all something. Have y'all ever seen the clown that hides from simps?
No.
You ever seen him? You ever seen him, Derek? You ever seen a clown that hides from simps? You ever seen him?
I don't think anybody has seen him.
No, I've seen him.
No. Seen him where?
I see him every day.
Why do you see him every day?
I see the clown right now. I always see it.
What's going on?
He hides from simps. So, he ain't hiding from me.
All right.
You don't see the clown, bro?
That flew way over my head.
I know.
Yeah, I had to think about it a little bit. I felt a little dumb.
So, do you see the clown?
I still can't answer it. It's still flying.
I don't know. So the clown is hiding from you then. That's why you can't see it.
If the shoe fit, wear it.
Not if the shoe fit, wear it.
Oh, man. Yeah, I wanted to ask that when D was here, but it's cool. Maybe see. Okay, so. But yeah, so we all agree, like, a man can cry through a filter.
No.
Wait, what was that last?
Through a filter.
I didn't agree with that.
What do you mean?
Should he just let it all out?
Sometimes.
No, all I had to say was...
Should he filter his stuff?
I understand that men they grew up in a space of like, men aren't supposed to cry, men aren't supposed to be vulnerable, men aren't supposed to be emotional, you're supposed to be take charge. Don't sit there and cry about it. It's just a game. You'll make the next one. Like, but I feel like when you get to a spot, because I'm going to start, I'm going to bring it more into a churchly environment. I'm going to talk about the husbands or soon-to-be husbands, or if you want to be a husband. All I will say is for women, I feel like it's annoying to hear because it's like, okay, what happens when you become, a husband one day? What you feel like you can't be vulnerable with your wife? Like, that to me should be a safe space. Like a wife should be a safe space for her husband, and a husband should be a safe space for his wife, to the point where if y'all even cry together, that should be a safe space for you both. Sure. It shouldn't be like, oh, I can't cry in front of my wife. No, I would never. I'm gonna go cry in the corner real quick and come back and act strong. Because no, a wife, like again, your wife is your helpme. So if you're in need of that emotional support, that is what your wife is there for. It is never, you should never be like, oh, a man should not cry. No, a man that isn't married, okay, whatever. If you feel like you don't need to be crying, fine. Because, I mean, if you don't want to cry with your bros, don't cry with your bros. But if you're a married man or a soon-to-be married man, or you plan on being like a husband one day, I feel like you might want to rethink that. Because if you really plan on that being your lifestyle, you have to understand or get to a place of understanding that, you know, a wife should be your safe space. You should want to cry with the woman that you plan on being with for the rest of your life. Like that should really be a safe, because that is such a vulnerable but such a what is the word? Memorable? It's just memorable moment and it's very intimate, and it can do so many things to relationships. I just feel like men have to realize women are here for that. Like, that is what we're here for. We're emotional creatures for a reason. Like,
that's
so why wouldn't you want to come to us?
That's what I said earlier. It matters who you're crying to.
Right, who you're crying to.
If you have a wife, you should absolutely feel comfortable to cry in front of your wife. Now, like I said, I also said how often. I said who, because you should not be crying your wife all the time.
That was a question.
Yeah. But
I was asking, should you?
I think some guys that are so like, oh, I can't show no tears. I feel like that comes from a place of brokenness or a place of pain, because you may have had to been like that for a certain way. And that comes from a place of insecurity. A man that is really secure in himself is going to be able to be vulnerable with the person that they love.
And whoever they choose. Like, again, because even with men, like, that's why I say, like, bringing up that friend group, because I know a lot of men are like, I can't cry in front of them. They're going to laugh at me.
Yeah, and you shouldn't.
You shouldn't. If that's how you feel. Because I get it. Like, I understand men don't always want to cry. I'm not telling you to cry all the time.
Hold on. Because trust me,
if
healthy thing for us to tell you,
because if I see you crying in front of your friends talking about, man, I love y'all, I'm going to be like, bruh, chill. Like, what are you doing?
That's what my question is, because what's up, Law Off Podcast in the building. Okay, what did Jesse say? I'll read some of these comments.
I can't even read. Okay,
Dolly probably don't need to be an alpha male to be a strong man, solid guy, or period. What? Eli, I cry every day. And then he said, listen to her, Derek. Dolly Bone said, holding in your tears isn't healthy, just builds up callousness of the heart.
That's facts. Yeah, it's not healthy.
Jesse said it's easier to say. Right. So we're gonna get into it a little deeper.
Not easier to say. Y'all gotta open up, man.
Haven't had safe spaces to show emotional release.
No, for sure. And then I feel like we touched on that though. Like, which part? With men not always, they weren't, some, like I said, some men didn't grow up having that space. Yeah, that's why I said for women, it's not like we're coming at y'all about it. We understand. It's obvious.
I want y'all to understand what we mean by space.
Yeah.
A space means this is designated for you to be vulnerable. We're not saying
stays in household.
We're not saying walk around being able to cry when you feel like crying. I didn't say that, because I think it's a healthy thing for us to have a distinct separation with men know how to keep it together. And, sometimes we could be the more vulnerable ones. But I said, when I say space, I mean designated time and area for y'all, because y'all have to have a vulnerable place. It's not healthy for nobody to just be holding in all. Yeah, it's just building on
men crying rooms.
I don't know about that now.
No, that's just
because y'all gonna come in and be like,
yo, I got it. You gotta go.
Oh, God,
where you going?
No.
You gotta go to my mid crying room real quick.
Honestly, I'm gonna speak from a perspective of a woman who has always not wanted to cry in front of people. Yeah. I hated crying in front of people, but I know I'm very emotional. I was the type of person that did go in them corners and cry for a little bit and come back out and try to act strong. So it's not like like, I get it. I'm not a man, so I don't get all of it. But I get the space of, like, I don't need to be crying in front of people. I get it. Because even for women go through it too.
Yeah.
You think we like walking around crying in front of men?
Now.
They be like, dang,
Come on
she
now.
emotional. She need to chill.
And I feel
if
it's
y'all
like,
been
but
together,
I
though?
get more sometimes.
Like, it just, women, it's not like we like our emotional side. We like it, but we literally can cry like this. If you yell at me, I'm gonna have some tears, and I'm gonna try to wipe them away. But it's like, dang, you have to yell at me like
I'll say
that.
so. Some women, some
women
they,
feel
they,
like
they
that,
keep
though.
it together and stuff too.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm just speaking to men that just feel like they have no space to cry or be vulnerable, or they can't be vulnerable in front of nobody. Like that whole Andrew Tate thing, like you in the jail and you going through, you
didn't
missing
cry.
your kids, and but
Tears
I
rolled
didn't
down
cry.
my face.
And, like
That is
said,
such a
bruh.
quote.
it's just like for
on,
what? If you wanted to cry, why didn't you? Like that's my question.
Because it's like, I hope men are like not holding their tears in.
Yeah.
Because again, even if you feel like you need to walk out, go into a safe space that is just by yourself. Because sometimes for men, that safe space is just them being alone. Then fine, but don't like say that you don't cry though.
Now, let me ask you: the thing that men do when they are alone and crying, and you know, to God or whatever, it might.
Because I'm like, don't y'all cry to God?
That's totally
Can
fine
they do
with
that
me.
in front of you though?
I
we
don't have a
married?
problem with it. Right, are we married?
Well, we're stuck now, so.
Yeah, no,
I don't have a
honestly,
problem with that. I love to see a vulnerable
Yeah,
man. It
I
makes me
don't-
feel like you're a man for real.
Yeah, if you're an alpha male and you fit a lot of the other things,
Like, dang, I
and-
don't know how we gonna pay these bills.
Like a real
like I
God-fearing
said,
man.
no,
If
'cause-
I'm seeing him
What
on
you
his
gonna
knees and he
do?
crying out for God, that's a man to me.
Yeah,
questioning
facts.
God
I said,
in
because
front of
why?
Because let's be real,
Why are
when
you
we see a
crying?
man like that, that makes you like, dang, I need to step up my game. Like, if I see a man that is literally on his knees crying out for God, I'm gonna be like, well,
Oh,
shoot,
for
let me
God,
get on
for
my knees
sure.
too, because
Yeah,
I'm not doing
it's-
enough.
To be honest with you, I have to go back to what I said earlier. Why are you crying? If you asked me earlier, you said earlier, what if a man is wailing out and doing the most of the? It depends on why. Did your mama die? Did your like if it's it? Are you crying out to God?
You know, crying out.
That's
like, crying
attractive.
because, like, dang, man, I had to pay $20 for gas.
That's not
Like,
attractive.
That's crazy.
But if you cry,
That's
you know what I'm
crazy.
saying? But if
If
you're
a
crying to
man
God,
cries-
that's different.
If a man
Why are you
cries
crying?
like a woman cries,
That's when it's
Wait,
like,
say
all
that
right,
again?
that's a red
if a
flag.
man cries like a woman cries,
Because no, if you crying in
Really
front of me,
like-
you like, don't you see how I feel?
if y'all don't see
Oh,
a
if you
difference,
talking
then
about
it's the same
feelings,
thing.
I can't be more. I can't
You gotta
be
be
harder
strong
than
so
you.
I can be strong. Because if we both crying, we look like
Right.
we look
I
like
just
I
can't
don't
be
know.
harder than you. That's why it go back to why is you crying?
Okay.
What
Because
if a man is crying because he's scared that we might not make it?
why are you crying?
Really? I can't feel that way.